when I logged into the Zoom room and I saw the one woman there, I could have said, and in fact, was even thinking that, why don't we just reschedule and I'll come back, we'll do it again later. And I could have very easily done that. But I don't like giving up and I don't like quitting. Yeah, that's just not something I like to do. And it was my responsibility. I set up this event and I needed to show up. Those people were kind enough to register. The least I could do, the very least I could do was show up. I am Gloria Grace Rand, founder of the L.O.V.E Method and author of the #1 Amazon bestseller, Live, Love, Engage: How to Stop Doubting Yourself and Start Being Yourself. In this podcast, we share practical advice from a spiritual perspective on how to live fully, love deeply, and engage authentically, so you can create a life and business with more impact, influence, and income. Welcome to Live, Love, Engage. Namaste. On the day of my Awakening Your Inner Light workshop, I almost ghosted 3 women who wanted to explore my L.O.V.E method, not because I didn't care, but because of one tiny notification setting. Oh, and a big story I was telling myself. So today, I am sharing what really happened and what it taught me about perfection and self-trust, and how you can use the L.O.V.E method the next time you mess up in your own life or business. But before we dive into all that, I want to welcome you to Live, Love, Engage. I am Gloria Grace, confidence catalyst who empowers women over 50 through my signature L.O.V.E method and energy healing to boldly live life on their terms. So if you're a regular subscriber to the podcast and you've listened to the last couple of episodes, I think I mentioned, or especially the last one, I mentioned that I was doing this workshop, and I was really excited because I had done it in person here in Florida. I guess almost 2 months ago now, and it was really lovely. And I thought, well, if I could do it in person, why not do it online with Zoom, and we can have breakout rooms and all that fun stuff. So that's what I did. I, decided, I picked a date and set up the event and, posted about it. And I wasn't getting any emails from Zoom about anybody registering. And in fact, even right up until, I know lots of people wait until the last minute. And so I was doing some last minute promotion as well. And the day before the workshop, I'm checking my email, searching for Zoom, and it's like nothing. I'm like, no. Oh, well, I guess it just wasn't meant to be. And I went about my day, and then the morning of the workshop, again, I checked again to see if anybody had registered. And, again, there were no emails from Zoom. You may be guessing where this is going already, right? So it got to be about, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes before 2:00. I was going to do this at 2:00 in the afternoon, I think, Eastern time. So, but I don't know, 15 minutes or 10 minutes before, for whatever reason, my higher self was telling me, go log on to Zoom. Log on to Zoom and check, and just double check to see if anybody had registered. And so I did. And when I logged on, I saw that 3 people had registered. Ah! For those of you who are listening, I'm doing my Home Alone impression of oh shoot, what was the character's name that Macaulay Culkin played? I forget. Oh, God, I should know it. But anyway, I'm doing my best, and it's also what is it? The Munch painting of the, oh, so holy moly. I'm like, okay, I've got 3 people that are expecting me to do a workshop in like a few minutes. So I like hurriedly went around my office trying to find the notes. I had like these, like, I don't know, 3x5 cards, or maybe even 5x7 cards, index cards that I had put together for the in-person workshop that had all my lovely notes about everything. And so I still never found them. I don't know where they went. Ugh! One of these days they'll show up, I guess. But thankfully, I also knew before I created the cards that I had put an outline together on Google Drive. So I went to Google Drive, found that, printed it out. I was like, okay, all right. It's like, because I knew in general what I wanted to do, but I also wanted to refresh my memory. And so I did that. So I got my notes, and I went into the Zoom, and there was one woman, someone I know, actually. Actually, I knew all 3 people who had signed up, thankfully, as well. So they weren't complete strangers, which was very fortunate for me. So this one woman was there, and she showed up, and I said, I'm so sorry. I like explained the whole thing to her, that I didn't get any notifications, and I didn't know anybody had signed up, and she was the only person there. And now it was already about a couple minutes after the start of the workshop. And so she's like, well, maybe you should check with the other people. And I'm like, yeah, I think that's a good idea. So I left the room and went and sent emails out to the other 2 ladies, and then came back into Zoom. And then sure enough, within a couple more minutes, they both came in. And now I'm going to breathe, because that's what I was able to do then, is to breathe and apologize and to thank them for showing up. And I went into the workshop what I wanted to share. And it wasn't as polished as I had intended it to be. And I know I didn't quite do things in the exact order that I wanted to do them either, but I did get I did the explanation of what the LOVE method stands for. We did some experiential exercises. They got to do some, reflections back and forth. We did some sharing. They did some journaling. And all in all, it turned out lovely. And they gave me some wonderful testimonials, which I just realized that I was going to look them up before I started recording this podcast, to tell you what they are. So you know what? I'm going to pause for one quick second and find them, and then I'm going to come, and then I'll continue the recording so I can get them, because I can do this. I have control. Haha. So I'll be right back, and you won't even notice how long I've been gone. I love technology because, see, I'm right back, and I have their feedback forms. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about what they said. So one of the comments said, "Thank you for a delightful workshop. The processes you shared were simple to grasp, very meaningful, and showed exciting originality. I recommend it to anyone seeking fresh tools for enlightening their life." And let's see, the next person said, yeah, the workshop was simple, interactive, personally fulfilling, and informative. I'm open to this information and appreciate your personal guidance. And I also shared some light language, and she loved that as well. She hadn't heard that before. And let's see. And then the last person said that, yeah, what they liked about the workshop was that it teaches you to listen to your inner intuition and to trust in God. And she loved breaking in, doing the breakout rooms. And yeah, so I felt so great reading these this feedback and knowing that showing up, showing up, that's one of the lessons learned here, is that it's important to show up. And the first lesson, actually, well, one of the lessons that came to me also was I should have heeded my mother's warning. She always taught me to never assume. You know why? Because you make an ASS out of you and me. And so I just assumed that everything was right set up with Zoom, and that, maybe it was some fault of theirs that they didn't send me notifications. Well, ha, 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 ha. Joke's on me, because it was operator error. I am the person who didn't set up the notifications so that it would let me know when someone registered. So I put a note on my notes for the workshop that the next time I run it, when I set it up in Zoom, to check and make sure that I have those notifications on. Oh my goodness. Oh, what an interesting experience. So what does all this mean for you? Well, before I get into that, I just want to take a moment. Hopefully you're not turned off so far. But I want to invite you to subscribe to the podcast if you aren't already, because, either on your favorite podcast platform like Apple or, wherever, Spotify, or on YouTube. And, it's the holiday season now. So maybe when you're wrapping gifts, you could listen to an episode, listen to one of our past episodes, see what calls to you. I just want to put that plug in there. So, like I said, what does this mean for you? Well, give yourself grace when you mess up. Don't worry about being perfect. I was honest with the participants, and I let them know that I almost didn't show up, because I didn't think anyone had registered. Talk about a limiting belief there. And double check settings when using automation, for sure. And it's really, when I think about it, it's about practicing the LOVE method. So for those of you who don't know what that is, the L stands for let go and let God. So in this case, it is letting go of perfection, and after the fact, letting go of self-criticism. The O is opening your heart to receive. So it's opening your heart to unexpected blessings. The V is valuing your uniqueness. So in my case, it was valuing the content I had to share and the exercises that I knew would be valuable to my attendees, and showing up. And then finally, and the E is embrace your divinity. And so that is acknowledging that I'm a perfect spiritual being living in an imperfect human body and encompassing this imperfectly human life. Yeah. Oh my goodness. And there's probably more lessons. And if you know of any that I missed, reach out to me. I'm on social media. LinkedIn is one of the places that I am hanging out the most these days. So connect with me on LinkedIn at Gloria Grace Rand. And point it out to me, because I feel like I'm missing something else. But I do think that the most important thing, actually, now that I think about it, I think the most important thing was that, and this is something that I sort of pride myself on, is I could have just showed up to that Zoom when I logged into the Zoom room and I saw the one woman there. I could have said, and in fact, was even thinking that, why don't we just reschedule and I'll come back we'll do it again later. And I could have very easily done that. But I don't like giving up. And I don't like quitting. Yeah, that's just not something I like to do. And it was my responsibility. I set up this event and I needed to show up. Those people were kind enough to register. The least I could do, the very least I could do was show up. So yeah, I think that's so important. So I thought what I would do right now is share with you a message from the multi-dimensional places that I share messages from. And this was part of when I did the workshop with them. As I mentioned, part of embracing your divinity is embracing that we are spiritual beings, and we have this connection with source, God, the universe, however you respond to it. So my way of connecting with all of that is through a modality called light language. And it is something that I share on the podcast when I do solo episodes like this. And it's truly a language of love. It's something that speaks to your heart, speaks to your soul, and it's very healing. It's helps you release what doesn't serve you anymore. Really, it's clearing out what doesn't serve you anymore. And yeah, I'm just really being called to just share that with you right now. And don't worry if you don't necessarily understand what I speak or sing, depending. Just trust that this message is for your soul's highest good. And that's the intention that I'm going to set, is that it is for your soul's highest good. So if you're listening to this while you're driving your car, I would encourage you to pause it right now and come back to this sometime when you can be seated. And so that you can really be hopefully not disturbed. So, somewhere quiet, and just set an intention for yourself that what you're going to hear is for your soul's highest good. And if you have a particular challenge that you're going through right now, ask that it will help you with that as well. Because again, it's a multi-dimensional form of communication, and it addresses whoever is listening to it. It addresses what you need. That's what's so cool about it. And for me, sharing it helps me as well. So I do it for selfish reasons too, because it's really good for my soul, and releases what I don't need released, or what I don't need to carry anymore, I should say. So yeah. So, okay. So I invite you right now. I'm hoping that you have already paused this and you're back now listening, and that you're comfortable. And I was very, very excited talking today. So I'm going to take a deep breath right now and encourage you to do the same. Let's just take one together. Breathe in and let go. Ooh, let me do one more. Oh, yeah, that feels better. I feel a little more grounded now. So that's important. I need to be grounded, especially when I decide to connect with the ethers. So I want to be grounded first. All right, let's see what comes through for you today, and for me. 𝘰𝘵𝘩𝘦𝘭𝘰𝘵𝘩𝘦 𝘰𝘵𝑩𝑦𝑜 아사건나예호 아고야노후후 아스깐나힌나에 온나긴나고호 아나연노기까홀라해 어시온노케야타호아 아까얀노기야 𝘨𝘠𝘰𝘓 Kalnianto Korea Poshagana, O Karianto Kimman Kinkalia Totinga, Ashakayano Korea Patokoyana Kuaba, Shona Koyoto Kueta, Koyano Koeta, Sonnaku Kahianake, Anaku Shana. 𝘨𝑁𝑂 ahna sonnaku kayotu shohua 𝘨𝑁𝑂 batokanka hanakriyotakinga 𝘨𝑁𝑂 kori koya takama kore anariano koimana kare kashakayana kareapon kale patatakriento tuingare hashakayana kayamana kaka Aratingareya Shanakareya Putagana Parayana Koyato Koshin Gare Pasha Koyeno Kueba Uya Shana Kuyamanaka Haruya Shokoya. I hope you received that with the love it was intended, and hopefully it lightens your heart today, because yeah, that's what it's intended for. And if you would ever like to have a personalized session with me, please reach out. You can schedule it at bit.ly/L, lowercase podcast 30. Oh, that's right. I'm like, what does the LLE stand for? Oh, yeah. Live, Love, Engage. Hello. Name of the podcast. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. It's as I'm recording this, it's the day before Thanksgiving. And, I think there's a lot of energy in the air, a lot of holiday angst. And yeah, I was going to tell you a story, but I'm thinking that might be a good story to share with you next week, especially as we get really into the thick of the holiday season. So yeah, I'm not gonna share it right now. Sorry. See, you got to be subscribed if you want to know what's coming up. And I will tell you again, just as a quick reminder, Live, Love, Engage as it in this format only has we're going to do about at least 4 more episodes, or maybe a few more. But I'm hoping, my intention is in January. I'm not sure exactly when, but I'm hoping in January of 2026 that we will have a new name. The podcast is going to be called Design Your Life Your Way. And that's what we're really going to be talking about in detail every week. And I'm also going to bring on some wonderful guests who will also share from their perspective how you can really create a life that you want to live, that serves you, that really does serve you. So, yeah, today's episode is a little bit shorter than I normally do, but you know what? I think that's a good thing, because we're busy. We're all busy this time of year, right? Absolutely. So, if there is one thing I hope you take from my almost ghosted workshop, it is this: your gifts are needed, even when our notifications are silent. Let go of perfection. Open your heart to the unexpected yes. value what you have to share, embrace that part of you that showed up anyway, and maybe take a moment this week to ask yourself, is there a place in your life or business where you've assumed no one's there? And is it a time to check it again? So, yeah, give that a thought. And until we meet again next week, these episodes drop on Tuesdays, by the way, I encourage you to go out and live fully, love deeply, and engage authentically.